We're in another room of the house today because I have a special guest, if you will. It's not a person, it's a thing. It's still a noun. It's a thing. So let me grab the camera here. So you might be wondering what all of this is all about. I have a ton, and there's more in here, of this yarn all balled up. And the problem with yarn like this is that you're forced to use you're forced to pull it from the outside, and when you do that, it rolls all over the place, and it's just kind of a hassle. It's easier if you have it in a basket, but and I've got the basket here for this specific purpose, but it would be easier if the yarn pulled out from the inside rather than from the outside. So here I've got some yarn that's basically deflated, and it's kind of hard to work with deflated yarn because it's just limp, and that's the reason why people ball it up. But this yarn I haven't balled up yet, so I'm going to get that opportunity because I have a package that I'm going to unbox. So I bought this thing on Amazon that I've wanted for a very long time because it's useful, and it's a tool for the trade. When you're a crafter like me, this type of tool is essential. And the reason I haven't bought it is because it's always been so expensive, but it was only like $14.99 on Amazon, and I have Amazon Prime, so I have free shipping, free 2-day shipping. It's a wool winder. And apparently, if you buy something from Amazon for $14.99, you get a box that has no graphics except for the front, which is kind of disappointing, but whatever. So let's see. Unbox. I know this is not an unboxing channel. Deal with it. Okay, let's get instructions. Device for winding yarn into a cordless ball, typically from a skein form. Okay, so here's this, and here's this. It's very small. Now, I saw one video. I've been watching videos like for the last week. I saw one video a long time ago where this person basically put toilet paper roll on this thing, and started winding the yarn on it. And I'm thinking, why would you do that? Because you're just going to have to take the yarn off the toilet paper roll. But I guess the reason that they did it like that was because the yarn kept falling off, or the yarn was so hard to pull off of this thing that it was impossible for them to get the yarn out, off of here. So they just you know, put the toilet paper roll. But the whole point of this thing is so that when you're finished winding the yarn, it like collapses in on itself so that you can pull the yarn from the middle. Okay. Is my table too thick for this thing, or what's going on? Okay, there we go. And we can tighten it. Let's see. Fasten, loosen. Okay, so let's see. I've got it fastened to the table. You can see it. So what I'm supposed to do is, I'll just take this one for now. What I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to put, according to the videos on YouTube that I've been watching, you're supposed to pull this through here, and then once again, or you could just thread it, I guess. Then you put this in here, and you're supposed to hold on to it. Oops, this thing is supposed to be, that's not supposed to move like that. What the heck? This thing is supposed to be out, or is it in? No, it's got to be out, but it's supposed to be locked in place. Let's see. I think I got messed up one. Because it's not clicking. Okay, let's see. Rotate yarn guide so loop end faces upward. Pull it out as far as it will go, locking it into working position as shown. And it's pulled out as far as it'll go. And it's not locking into, it's not locking. This thing is not locking in place. Wow. Okay, so fun. Okay. Let's try to do this anyway. So I guess I'm gonna have to hold the arm as well as the yarn, because you have to hold the yarn for tension. So that's fine. That's fine by me, I guess. One of the reasons why I wanted this is because I have paracord, the really thin paracord, and it comes in such a long, you know, hanks, I guess they call it, and they send it to you not wound up like this. They send it to you like they roll it up like you would roll up a extension cord, and then you're just left with, you know, all this paracord, and the really thin paracord is really difficult to that looks really cool. The really thin paracord is really hard to you know, keep from being what's the word, knotted up. You know, look how much I have left of this thing. That's pretty cool, and I really honestly don't mind having to hold this metal thing, but it would be nice if I didn't have to. It would be nice if things worked for a change. Whatever, I don't care. Okay, and the ending, I guess we'll have to just tuck it in. Now with these yarns that are left over from, you know, a long time ago, see, it's not that hard to pull out, and you're supposed to let it, oops, there we go. You're supposed to let the you're supposed to let it collapse in on itself so that you can pull it out from the middle. And the thing I like about this is that this is flat. It's not going to roll around, and so when I'm pulling it out from the top, it's not going to be rolling around like a regular ball would. And what they do, they call these cakes. So I think that's fancy. It's a lot nicer to look at. This is a lot nicer to look at than this. And you know, this is all you know, leftover yarn from projects, and even though I'm having problems with carpal tunnel syndrome, you know, I can still crochet here and there, and I have these extra colors all over the place that I can use to make like little granny squares with like a black border or a white border or whatever border I want. And this particular color I use as a border sometimes, and it doesn't have the paper with it, so I forgot the name of it, but it's a really cool looking color when it's all crocheted. And so yeah, this is going to make it a lot nicer to store, because they'll, you know, be flat, and they'll be able to stack, and it'll just be so much easier to put in the containers that I have. I don't know how much time I have. Let's see. I have 11 minutes, so if you want to sit and watch 11 more minutes worth, I'll do another one. I can do this one, for example. This is a really nice color. I think it's called, oh, it's Painted Desert. That's right. Painted Desert. I made a blanket, several blankets actually, with this as a background, and then I made some squares with this, and it really came out nice. I like how it looks, how it's got the like zigzag, I guess. And I love how it goes from this to this. And like I said, I just love that it's flat on the bottom, and then you can just set it down and pull from the top, and instead of, and the thing I hated about making these balls is that when you have to make these balls, you're having to stretch the yarn, and some of this yarn is already too thin and you're stretching it even more, although I'm probably stretching it with you know, the tension. Not really, but I've been watching these videos on YouTube, and this one person wasn't using any tension at all because she was holding the camera, and when she pulled the yarn cake off, I think it's funny to call it a cake. When she pulled the yarn cake off the machine, the whole inside just like collapsed. It was like this deep. And this, look how fast it is. I mean, come on. This is so much faster than doing it by hand. So I got a little tiny bit left here. Why is it? Oh, it's got underneath. Oops, don't want that to happen. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, God. What? Okay, that's not supposed to happen. How did that happen? Something always happens. Never fails. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, that sucks, but whatever. Let's see. Gonna put this back in there. That's fine, whatever. Let's wrap this around. Oops. Come on, stop that. Okay. Now see, if you have the paper that wraps around the skein, you can just go ahead and put that around these, and see, these are small enough that it should fit, and if there's more room, then, you know, if there's a lot of I mean, if it's small enough, it should fit, and you'd probably have to, you know, break it apart and then, you know, wrap it around and just put a piece of tape on it to hold it on, and that way you'll have the color number. And this is just awesome, I think. So I'm gonna have a little fun and do all the rest of this yarn. Like I said, I've got a humongous bag filled with all this yarn, and see, this is the problem with the yarn balls, is that they all get loose, and this is what happens. See, all these yarn balls that I showed you on the table, I had pulled out of here and, you know, pulled the yarn out of this big, you know, mess and wound them up nice and, you know, presentable. But you know, that's the reason I bought this, is because all these yarn balls have been in this bag for so long, and they come apart, and it's impossible to keep them from, you know, becoming a humongous mess. It becomes like a monster, and having them like this, where you have them, and those are, you know, these are supposed to be, when you wind them, you're supposed to, like, you know, tuck the thing in, and you do, and you tighten it, and, you know, that doesn't come apart, but eventually it does come apart, and it becomes a monster in the bag. And some people, I would guess, would probably tape this, but like I said, if you have the piece of paper that wraps around the yarn skein, just wrap it around here, and even if you have to tape that closed to tighten this, to keep it from coming, this piece from coming apart, you know, do whatever you have to do, and see, these can sit in a drawer, and they're the same height. You know, this wouldn't be the same height. You know, and these balls would just be like all over the place. At least these are the same height, and, you know, they may not be the same. Well, these two are the same thick, the same width or whatever, but. And even if they are smaller, they probably won't be the same height. Who knows? But at least they'll be, you know, you'll have control of them, and they won't be, you know, loose in a bag or a container, you know, like a spaghetti monster. And, you know, you'll have better control over your yarn balls, and you know. And this is my, every time somebody told me I was going to hell in a handbasket because I'm gay, well, here's my little pretty handbasket. It's got the little ribbon. I don't know who decorated this. I found it somewhere. But this is my hell basket, and I'm going to hell in. So, I think it's kind of pretty. It's got the what do you call it? I don't even know what you call it. It's coming apart. I'm going to have to fix my hell basket before I die. It'll be on my bucket list. In the meantime, my hell basket will contain yarn cakes. So, thank you, Wool Winder, for being so cheap on Amazon. And I'll catch you later.